hospitalized. That was so much.
Welcome to the main event. This is True Ring News Network, your ringside access to WWE news and drama. Subscribe and let's rumble. The backstage world of WWE was rocked by a storyline twist that no one expected. A moment filled with raw emotion and powerful character beats that left fans stunned. In this fictional narrative, the Bloodline, once the most dominant force in modern wrestling, faces its most personal and heartbreaking challenge yet: the sudden exit of Jimmy Uso from the group's story. The emotional fallout behind the scenes wasn't just a plot point, it was a turning point, a dramatic shift that would redefine the Bloodline forever. What unfolded in the locker room wasn't the stoic dominance we usually see from these characters. It was vulnerability, heartbreak, and the painful realization that family, even in the world of wrestling fiction, can fracture when pressure hits its peak. The truth behind the storyline shakeup. Within the scripted world, Jimmy Uso's departure wasn't written as a clean or simple separation. Instead, the story paints it as the result of intense creative disagreements and emotional battles within the family unit. The character of Jimmy is portrayed as someone fighting passionately for the direction of the Bloodline, pushing for a legacy that honors their history. But sometimes in wrestling storylines, conflict pushes characters apart, and that tension creates unforgettable drama. Here, Jimmy's exit becomes the catalyst for a storyline that explores loyalty, pride, and the internal struggles of a family bound by blood, but challenged by ambition. Roman Reigns faces the unthinkable. One of the most powerful beats in this fictional tale centers on Roman Reigns learning about Jimmy's exit. The tribal chief, known for his dominance and composure, is shown experiencing a rare emotional collapse. In the scripted moment, he sits in his private locker room, staring at the news on his phone as disbelief takes over. The character who once ruled with an iron grip suddenly becomes human, shaken, and vulnerable. It's a moment that the storyline uses to show what Jimmy truly meant to him, not just as a faction member, but as a brother in every way that matters. In this story, Roman's anger, heartbreak, and shock signal the beginning of a new chapter in his arc, one that forces him to confront the cracks forming within his own kingdom. Jey Uso's silent heartbreak. While Roman's reaction in the story is explosive, Jey Uso's response goes in a completely different direction. As Jimmy's twin, Jey is written as the character who suffers the deepest emotional blow. In a moving scene, he is found sitting alone hours after the show, processing the idea of continuing his career without the brother who has been by his side since birth. This part of the storyline taps into the inseparable bond between the twins, a bond that makes Jimmy's fictional departure feel like the loss of half of Jey's soul. The silence, the shock, the emotional shutdown, these beats create one of the most relatable and heartbreaking moments in the story. Solo Sikoa steps into the unknown. Solo Sikoa, normally the unshakable enforcer of the Bloodline, is hit hard by Jimmy's exit in this storyline. He has always looked up to the older members of the group, learning from them and relying on their guidance. In this narrative, viewers see a different side of Solo, someone worried, emotional, and unsure about the future. His reaction shows how Jimmy's presence held the group together in more ways than anyone realized, emphasizing the idea that Jimmy was the emotional center of the Bloodline dynamic. The fractured foundation. The Bloodline's strength wasn't just dominance in the ring, it was unity. In this fictional storyline, Jimmy's departure sends ripples through the entire faction. Characters who once stood firm together are now written as questioning their futures, their loyalties, and their purpose. The absence of one member exposes long-buried tensions and highlights just how much the group depended on its foundation of brotherhood. This moment becomes a defining shift, marking the start of a new era built on uncertainty. Jimmy Uso's legacy. Within the story. While the character of Jimmy is no longer present in this storyline, his impact is felt everywhere. The script paints him as the heart of the bloodline, the one who kept the group grounded, who mediated conflicts, and who made sure every member had a voice. He wasn't just a performer, he was a unifying force. The narrative emphasizes that his influence shaped the bloodline's rise to greatness, and that his absence leaves a void impossible to replace. Even as the story moves forward, Jimmy's contributions remain central to the emotional weight of every decision the bloodline makes. Emotional stories from behind the curtain. The storyline expands by showing how Jimmy's character affected everyone around him, from supporting younger wrestlers to forming bonds with backstage workers. He is portrayed as someone who spread positivity wherever he went. These fictional accounts highlight his kindness, mentorship, and leadership, traits that made him beloved both inside and outside the ring. This dramatic choice deepens fans' emotional connection to the character and amplifies the impact of his exit. Roman Reigns confronts a new reality. Roman's character arc continues to evolve as he struggles to process the loss. He tries to stay strong for the group, but the weight of the situation drains him emotionally. This storyline shows Roman battling with responsibility. As the tribal chief, he feels he must carry the bloodline forward, but as a cousin and brother figure, he is shattered. This duality becomes the emotional core of his journey, forcing him to confront his vulnerabilities in ways fans have never seen before. Jey Uso stands at a crossroads. Jey's story becomes even more complex. Without Jimmy at his side, he enters uncharted territory. The narrative explores his fear, confusion, and internal conflict about continuing alone. Jey is written as someone torn between honoring his brother's memory and finding his own identity. This creates a compelling character journey that resonates with fans on a deeply emotional level. A bloodline without its heart. The bloodline must now move forward without one of its pillars. The script acknowledges that no amount of storyline rewrites or new additions can replicate the chemistry the group once had. The tension, the challenge, the emotional fallout, everything becomes part of a new chapter, defined not by dominance, but by survival. The remaining members must adapt, strengthen their bonds, and discover new roles as they navigate their fractured reality. The path ahead. The future of the bloodline is uncertain, and that's what makes this storyline so powerful. The characters are pushed to their limits, forced to face emotional challenges that test their loyalty, their strength, and their resilience. Roman, Jey, Solo, and Jacob Fatu now carry the torch alone, walking a path shaped by the legacy Jimmy left behind. The road forward will be filled with conflict, growth, and transformation. Everything great wrestling storytelling thrives on.